2 years ago, a friend of mine asked me to say some MC rhyme, so I said this rhyme I'm about to say.
Okay.
The rhyme was dope and then it went this way.
Oh, yeah. Renegade culture.
What it do, what it do, what it do.
And look who's back.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying wearing black and blacker than ever and beautiful and handsome, all that kind of good stuff.
My man's in the building. My
How y'all
brother.
doing? You know,
Goddamn.
fuck you, man.
El
You know what I'm
Kamau.
saying?
No, he got that
With the
Goodwill
talking
shirt
style.
on. I like it.
Talking with your
He's a
bad
Goodwill
looking, you know what I'm
shirt.
saying? Didn't you just get your teeth done?
He did get some new teeth.
Yeah, he
This
did
nigga
get
got
some
the
new
John Travolta shirt.
Can you get a collar that stays up there with
You
your
know what I'm
t-shirts and shit like that? He ain't never had a t-shirt in his life. Like,
You
can you
two
press that
motherfuckers should work
laundry?
together.
Press that laundry
Hey, yo,
and shit like that.
he got the wedding shirt, you DJ weddings. That's what-
Oh, press that
The
laundry.
butler.
You know what I'm
Shut
saying?
your goddamn
First thing you
mouth.
should pack is like a fucking iron.
Hey, then he got the sleeves rolled back.
Because I'm avoiding
Oh,
it.
never
Because I'm
find.
a profession.
Oh, Lou Rawls shirt.
You
Fuck is wrong
never
with you?
find.
Now he's trying to look smart.
Exactly. He's like trying to look smart.
Yo, how you doing, black man?
Hey, I'm good, my brother. Always
Yeah.
good to be here with you, the ear doctor. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Who's done so much great work.
Nope.
Behind the scenes, that's
Behind
right.
the scenes.
Anyway, who are y'all?
Kamau K. Franklin.
All right.
I am the mighty Kalonji Changa. When you know I'm not doing Renegade coaching, you
Cut.
catch me.
And who we
on-
got back there?
I go by the name of the ear doctor and Jaha.
Ja.
Yeah.
Ja Titty Ja. You know what I'm saying? My man. He always got the girls out. He always got the girls rocking and rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
That's my man Ja showing off. and
Tight
shit like
titty T.
I used to look like that. I gotta do some push-ups.
Oh,
and
yeah?
shit, you know? Fuck you, man.
You woke up. Anyway, shout out to Minister Server. He down in motherfucking Jamaica.
Yeah.
Acting like a fat roster. What up, sir?
Bookman.
Book my word. He down there for what's this birthday number what?
57.
57. You know what
my
I'm
man.
saying?
Yo,
You getting
shout out.
older, not better. Don't let nobody lie to you.
It's my man. Leave my boy alone, man.
I know.
Stop playing, man.
Word.
You know what I'm
we had
saying?
a dope day, a dope week.
Yes,
Talk
indeed.
about it.
We had Brother Cordell West on
Yeah.
earlier today on Black Power Media.
Dr. Cornell, brother, call him Brother Cornell.
You know, brother, you know, we close like that. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
no doubt, no doubt.
He
You
gave me a
count-
call afterwards. He was saying,
word?
you know what, Kamau, you know me.
He said, he said, now listen, Brother Kamau. He said, that shirt you had on,
It's ubiquitous.
it goes good.
Speaking of words you can't pronounce, me, why don't we
Go to the Patreon.
Why don't we jump to the Patreon real quick?
Speaking of words you can't pronounce. Come on, let's get
Come on,
this.
hit them Patreons. Who we got?
First up, we have
What the
Zizwe,
fuck you say? Wait.
Tikiguka.
All right, and we got Paul Brown.
Wait,
We
the
have-
motherfucker got an accent on it too.
I was like,
he
what
said, you sound like goddamn Pepe Le Pew.
Can you roll it?
Can we
do it again?
finish doing what we're doing?
I'm sorry, sir.
Next, we have Gary Lee.
And then we got Tiona Ankrum.
And we have David.
And we got Smith Amile.
Then we have Don Deering.
All right, that's
All right,
it.
Patreons, thank y'all
No
so
doubt,
much. You know
no
what I'm
doubt.
saying?
Now, did you say David?
David.
David,
That's his
David.
name.
Yeah, all right.
Yep, I don't know what the fuck, but that's
Your
what they
name
get.
David.
So we're going to have a good show tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's good to be back in the seat. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about
Glad to
the
see you
issues.
back, brother. Been a while.
I know, man. You miss me?
Nah.
Fuck you. We're going to talk about police issues, of course, because there's always a lot of those going on.
They be always fucking up.
Yeah, that's right. So not only what the police are doing to us, but what the police are doing
To the
to
police.
each other. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And trying to cry that foul game of like, you know, nobody loves us, fuck y'all. But we're going to talk about that too.
That's right.
And we're going to have a whole bunch of other things to talk about when we get back on Renegade Culture and our musical guest.
Okay, we got a musical guest.
That's right.
We got my man Question.
Yeah.
Building.
This brother Question, man, we ain't gonna tell you about him just yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna let you dig in and see what the fuck's going on
That's
with my man
right.
Question. Question's a real dope artist and shit. But you know, we're gonna see what's going on.
True that, true. We're going to be back on Renegade Culture. Bam.
I want to give brother because I'm learning.
We find out Cornell West is related to Miss Cleo. He just came in and took my whole question. I was just about to ask you, said, hey, what are you? I'm like, got my headphones tapped. What's going on, Dr. Cornell West?
Renegade Culture, we back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we are back. Renegade Culture. I just want to say shout out to Tamir Rice today. He's been 19 years old.
That's right,
You know what I'm
that's right.
saying? When we're seeing this podcast, he's been 19 years old. 12-year-old who was murdered blatantly in the streets by the fucking police. You know what I'm saying? Out in was that Cleveland, Ohio?
Cleveland, Ohio, that's right.
Pig named Lehman or Loman or whatever, who was fired from another jurisdiction, as we mentioned on previous segments, and rehired, I think, 30 days later with the Cleveland Police Department. We're looking forward to having his mother, Samaria Rice, on. Shout out to her because of the fact that we know that recently she's been going through it with Shaun King.
That's right. She just brought something up talking about how he tried to expose the fact that they had some conversation and somehow that was supposed to make her feel better. And she's still on it like, nah, dude, you raising money in my child's name, claiming you gave me money, and then you raised more money and didn't give nothing out. So you basically making dollars, getting the bag off of my name, off of my child's name, and I'm out here fighting for justice.
You know, I want to say something about that because of the fact that I think that one thing that people aren't looking at because of the fact that I see people choosing sides on social media. They're like, well, she should do this, and you know that brother doing this. And listen, fuck all that. What I need you all to do, those of you who are parents, I need you to think for a second. Just stop the whole fucking car, and I want you to think for a second about the fact that this is a child that a mother lost. You understand what I'm saying? It's not just some abstract shit. Because of the fact that it's easy for us to talk about, oh, that's a shame, and this happened, and you know, justice for this one. Put yourself in the shoes. Look at your baby. And imagine your 12-year-old, you allow him to go outside, and a motherfucker roll up and just gun him down in cold blood. You understand what I'm saying? And then you fast forward and you have these ambulance chasers. These folks who come under the guise of assisting the community and assisting the families, they come along and they make profit. They make profit. They prey on these folks like vultures. Now, am I saying that's what Shaun King is doing? Probably. So my shit is this right here. The ambulance chasers, cease and desist. You know what I'm saying? And do not think for one moment that these parents are out here alone because of the fact that I know that some of you think that you can write people off by saying, well, you know, they're just angry and they shouldn't do that and it's not right to, you know, that brother, fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get permission from the family to push their shit, you don't have a right to.
Particularly around raising money. Particularly around something like raising money. And that means that you're speaking on behalf of the parent, at least you acting like you're speaking on behalf of the parent or the child. And the parent may be struggling to try to get some other stuff done. And so, you know, I'm not one of those folks who believe like, you know, the movement is going to be led by the victims of police brutality. No, but obviously when it's somebody's child, they're going to have a say in that case and how that child is portrayed, particularly again, when folks are raising money for it and she feels like they are doing that in a way that props themselves up and doesn't do anything for her or for the community. And she, you know, she was sort of, in some ways, like long suffering and wasn't speaking out. It didn't seem like she was speaking out in the way that she did several months ago now after the Grammys. But now she's on full blast and she's trying to protect her son's legacy. And again, as Kalonji mentioned, today is his birthday, would have been his birthday. And so this is a mother who's speaking from her heart. And again, this, you know, hopefully we'll have her on in the future to talk about the case and where it's at. Because I know she's trying to get the federal case back open again. So to sort of talk about where it's at and what she wants to have come out of it. And then the other thing that's happening, right, is today, when you guys see this, probably Derek Chauvin would have been sentenced.
So Derek Chauvin, the pig, you know, I mean, and this shit is like, just sitting here taping this episode right here, again, we take the humanity out of this shit. We've become so desensitized by these police murders because the shit happens all the time. So it's easy for us to just say, oh man, you heard what happened to such and such, you heard what? By it not being your physical family, by it not being a friend or someone that you actually know, you know what I mean? It doesn't, what they say, it don't slap, it don't hit hard, it don't hit the same. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that, you know, you're uncertain about the situation. You know what I mean? So this punk motherfucking pig, I said that, Derek Chauvin, you know, who had his knee on the neck of George Floyd last year, and who tried to who his defense team tried to criminalize. So to add insult to injury, not only do these motherfuckers kill us, but they make efforts to blame us, to blame the victims. And that's what happened with Katherine Johnston, the 92-year-old who was murdered in her own home less than 5 miles from where we sit right now. You know what I'm saying? They murdered her, handcuffed her, and said that they found drugs in the basement when in fact, those bastards planted evidence and actually went and got some young paid informant to say that he bought drugs from her. And then later on, he turns around and say, you know what, when he found out who it was, this is a 92-year-old woman that reminded me of my grandmother. I'm sorry, me being a low scum piece of shit that I am, even I can't even
go through with that.
No.
And imagine what would have happened in this particular case if there was no videotape.
Absolutely.
Because that's the thing. The only reason that conviction was had was because there was a videotape of him being on his neck for over 9 minutes.
That's right.
And that's it. Otherwise, he would have made up some story. He would have said he resisted. He would have said that, you know, he calmly put him in the police car.
That's right.
And then when he got to the precinct, he was knocked out. And that story would have flew, right? Because no one would have been the wiser. And that's the history of policing. It's like, you know, these cameras don't mean everything. But what they've done is they've done more to expose what's happening on a day-to-day level around this police brutality stuff. And so we actually, you know, but again, I think by the time you guys see this, that sentencing would have already happened. And it's hard to predict what will happen with the sentence. But one thing we do know is that there's going to be an appeal. And as we remember back from the trial, the trial judge who will hear the first appeal was setting it up for a possible overturning of the conviction by saying that outside voices were playing a role in potentially poisoning the jury. So we have to be careful that even though whatever this sentence that's going to be handed down, that you will know again that by the time you see this video, even if that sentence is a long sentence, we don't know if that sentence is going to stick because there's going to be appeals after the sentencing, which may lead to an overturn and may possibly even lead to a new trial.
Hoping I'm wrong, I doubt that he'll get 20 years. Hoping that I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool with being wrong, but I doubt highly that he'll get 20 years because of the fact that even the pigs who murdered Captain Johnson in Atlanta, the one that got the most time was like 11 years or some shit.
The only thing that tells me that he might get longer is the sensationalism of the case. And so that's the only thing that leads me to believe that there's a possibility until appeal, that the judge may throw the quote unquote throw the book at him, because this has had such a worldwide attention. And remember, this is one of the few times where they've actually sacrificed one of their own, which I mean by that is that the prosecution actually put on a real case, brought up the police commissioner and other folks to testify that what took place, was against police policy. And so therefore, that sort of a minor crack in the blue wall, as in an actual police commissioner gets up and says that, means that the system was prepared for this person to go down, so that they can sort of try to reestablish the police and or the judicial system as being fair and honest and equal and neutral. So as we've seen post this killing, this murder of this person, other black folks have been killed and their trials await, and other folks have already been acquitted and or didn't even get prosecuted after killing young black people on the street.
And be clear that that's only because of the climate. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the fact that right now it's the season of rebellion. Right now, you know what I'm saying, you've had so many back-to-back murders, you have so many back-to-back assaults on camera by these motherfuckers that they're forced to say, okay, boom. No, we are doing things because of the fact that white folks finally got out in the streets and said Black Lives Matter. And I'm saying that because of the fact that indeed black folks got in the streets, but here, where we are in Atlanta, in places like Buckhead and places like Highland Park and all these other places or whatever, we saw actual white folks on Ponce, so on and so forth, in Ackworth, in Kennesaw, in Marietta, so on and so forth. We saw these white folks that actually got out and stayed out in the streets for a long while, the churches and all that type of stuff, because of the fact that they saw that, look, this shit is outrageous, and we got to decide what side of the barricades we're going to be on, because of the fact that, you know, motherfuckers are come knocking at your door. You know what I'm saying? So now there's still the quote unquote Karens and all that type shit that really don't give a fuck. And we appreciate them because of the fact that we'd rather you be honest with us and say, no, nigga, we don't like you. You understand what I'm saying? We're not going to play with you. We're not going to act like we like you, than to parade and make us think that there's some type of hope with that whole Joe Biden type bullshit.
And now when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. But we're going back, we're going to talk a little bit about how that climate seems to be shifting, particularly around liberal Democrats, because of the claim that crime is going up and that this defunding the police slogan is somehow making the cops unable to do their jobs. We're going to talk more about that when we get back on Renegade Culture.
Block out.
You know, some of what I think that we're competing against have been here for decades and have they do have unlimited resources. So I'm trying to be patient and appreciate the slow build.
Is Dr. High off his own supply? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wanted to hear the L, man.
Yeah.
When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call, telling me I need a girl as sweet as a dove. For the first time in my life, I think I need love.
Oh!
Shout out to Jared Ball, his twin brother, ear doctor in the building.
Oh, you see how I see he's doing college back at Morris Brown.
What Kumo do you say? Loser.
I had the Terry Cloth Kango and everything.
Damn.
Oh, damn.
I never wear that shit again.
You're like,
Anyway.
And you used to get the plastic and put it underneath so the thing would stay round.
Well, we used to do newspaper.
Newspaper, yeah.
the Kango.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, let's get
and
back
we
to
still
our-
smash they shit.
Oh, damn, no. Let's get back to our show. Speaking, I mean, this is not a good segue, but speaking of smashing shit.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we about to talk more about the cops, and then you brought up this interesting story
Right.
about how this white boy.
Cops in St. Louis.
Yeah, what happened, man?
Yeah, so bust it. So two pigs,
Oh.
Luther Hall,
Yep.
and his white comrade, Detective Luther Hall, they were undercover to rally for Anthony Lamar Smith, a brother who was shot, murdered 5 times in St. Louis back in 2017. So what happens is they're out there protesting, videotaping, so on and so forth, and they get approached by 3 other pigs, one made by the name of Dustin Boone, and they decide that they're gonna roll up on these cats, and they decide that the white boy, you can go.
Oh.
But the black cop, who they don't know is an undercover black cop, they start beating the goddamn brown stew chicken out of him. Lips swole up, you know what I'm saying? They said one cop, when he got to the precinct, put his pinky finger in the hole inside of his lip.
Damn.
So anyway, so he got fucked up really bad or whatever.
But wait a minute, what was he doing as he was fucking him up, the white cop?
Is the white cop the fuck?
What was he doing
the
as
white
he-
cop, Dustin
Boone.
Boone, he decides that he's gonna FaceTime his girlfriend while he's beating this black dude's ass. So he has his phone attached to the joint, his then girlfriend watching my man fuck him up the whole 9. Aside from that, there was another case where he slapped up another quote unquote suspect, another black man, and he decided that he was gonna text his friends. He said, "Listen, I just slapped this cat just got slapped in the mouth by a little white boy. LOL." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He has a history of using racial epithets through his text messages, so on and so forth. So so he ends up getting Dustin. What the fuck is his name?
Boone.
Dustin Boone. He he gets charged for some type of civil rights
abuse.
Civil rights abuse, so on and so forth. So the other 2 cops pled guilty, and this dude is facing time right now. Now, the ill shit. The question I need to know. I mean, because of the fact that in checking this story out, I'm thinking about this. I'm like, here it is. You getting your ass whooped by your coworkers. That shit is like fucking Giant the ear doctor whooping your ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying they're your coworkers.
Yeah.
I mean, shit sound insane. We together.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did the white boy cop go?
Yeah.
When his partner's getting his ass whooped.
That's
he
the
could say,
question,
yo, this nigga, we down with
We
y'all.
undercover,
whatever.
yeah.
They beating the shit out of me like, ooh. That shit sound like a setup.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was Luther Hall, I'd be looking for my white boy partner too. I'm like, yo, look, man.
Yeah.
Your ass need to get this ass
where
whooping that
were
I
you?
got. Yo, my man sitting in there, I saw a picture of him, his lip looking like Popeye the Sailor Man and shit, like he had a whole bunch of spinach packed inside that motherfucker.
And you said one cop took his finger and stuck it in his mouth.
In the goddamn...
Just to show the gap between where his like bloody lip was up and stuff like that.
So he required immediate surgery. Oof. So he has all kinds of neck damage and everything right now. And he's been testifying against this cat, whatever. But, I got to be honest with you. I can't say I feel sorry for him.
Nope.
I'm not going to sit there. I'm just showing you what the fuck the police do to black people. And I think that, oftentimes black cops think that blue shit overrides the black shit. Now, the blue shit does override the black shit when you want them to stand up and protect your white counterparts. But when it comes, definitely the blue wall of silence. But when it comes to they white asses running up on your black ass, that blue shit don't matter because they don't see no blue. They just see black and blue when they drop the motherfucking Fifth Ward beads on you.
And that's kind of like the hilarious part of it is that this dude is at a protest.
At a protest.
Undercover, spying on people who are protesting against police brutality, taking names and numbers. You never even know. They might be trying to set some folks up by throwing something in the crowd.
He might have fucked somebody up himself.
Yeah, so you never know what's happening in terms of what these undercover cops are doing. And then he gets pulled out. So, justice served in some weird sense.
Yeah.
I hope the white boy goes to jail. Yeah. And, oh, Luther, you need a new profession. But one reason why we also led with that story is because now all of a sudden there's this narrative shift. If you read the New York Times over the last couple of days and some other newspapers, there's a big push now to talk about how violence is going up and how the police are demoralized. And so therefore more resources need to go to the police, and we need to end all this conversation about defunding the police. There's been several editorials and opinion pieces that have been stressing the fact that these cops now feel under siege. Get that, 1 year later, after George Floyd, these cops feel under siege, and we're now supposed to feel sympathy for them,
right?
Even though they've been not only killing our folks, beating our people down, infiltrating rallies and demonstrations, and their budget during this time period has not been cut. Never. So don't let anybody believe that their budget has been cut. Some of these cops have left the force, but they've been replaced, right?
Right?
And not during the time period in which crime supposedly went down and now it's going up and then it was going down again and going up. The police budgets have continually maintained a steady upward increase. So at no point in this history have the police's budget been decreased. And so what this tells you is that the police have very little to do with any change in the statistical evidence of what crime is and how crime happens. And we don't even know the full reports around what's getting reported. Now, of course, around like some of the serious crimes, but the other crimes that are taking place that are at least being docketed as crimes that may have not been docketed before.
Now, what's bananas about that, you hear, this is Biden, of course, pushing this, as you mentioned, you know what I'm saying? He talked about all these, summer program. He talked about, this whole war on guns and all this bullshit. And it's funny, I was reading a little earlier, and Governor Kemp, the racist governor here in Georgia, he was like, fuck that, here go another bullshit Democrat move. And Keisha Lance Bottoms, who will be stepping down, and her partner, Kasim Reed, her butt buddy, will be coming back and taking over once again. She was like praising Biden, talking about, yeah, this is great for cities like Atlanta, so on and so forth. So for all you motherfuckers that voted for Keisha, for all you motherfuckers that voted for Kamala, you know what I'm saying, or for Biden because of the fact that you felt they was Democratic or they was black women or whatever the case is and shit, let's see how this shit turns out.
Because you see, they're jumping over each other to race to get to the front of the line.
That's right.
To talk about how now they need to get more funding to the police. And in fact, right here in Atlanta, the city council itself is voting to build a state-of-the-art police training center. They want to cut down forests and build a state-of-the-art training center for the police. Again, in the midst of all of this outrage over police brutality, no changes have happened to the police department. Nothing has happened to punish these cops or to take them out of our communities or to come up with new ways in which to go in and deal with things like drug abuse, mental health issues, homelessness. None of that's been on the table to taken care of. But yet they could do billions of dollars to create this new training center for the police.
I want to correct one thing that you said.
What did I say?
There has been one change.
What's that change?
The cop that murdered Rayshard Brooks, he was fired, and then he was rehired.
Yep, well, that's true. So
welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah.
What's the Hawks game looking like?
Exactly. And that's that. Yeah, they want us all to be distracted with that stuff, and then that's what they do, yo. We're gonna be back with Renegade Culture with our final segment in a second.
No doubt. Hawks versus the Bucks.
Yeah.
Me no bleeds, don't miss skin, me no bleeds. Men like that browning. Big up.
Yeah, don't bleach your skin, man.
Hey, I'm stuck from the last joint to this right here.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go, Kalonji.
But
There's a whole lot.
There's a great documentary that came out a couple years ago called The Illusionists that talks about the way advertising runs media around the world. And there's a section on it about skin bleaching. And they talk about throughout the continent of Africa, particularly throughout India and other parts of Asia. This is a global problem.
Yo, I don't give a fuck about your faults or mishappenings. I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. Things happen. Yeah.
Whoa, Renegade Culture.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
That was the worst big pun.
That's Fat Joe.
I know it's Fat Joe. So you mean big pun. Don't be racist.
That's
Speaking
right.
of being racist.
Wait a minute, but Fat Joe, I seen him in this damn, on this video joint. He was at some party. nigga had to paint it on beard and shit. You know? Nigga like somebody spray painted his face and shit. You remember like on cartoons, and they had the bad guys with the fake rough beard and shit.
Fucking step on my segue.
I'm sorry, brother.
Speaking of racist, y'all confuse Fat Joe and Pun.
Oh, excuse me.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Okay.
Right? He has a new film out, In the Heights, where he's talking about the history of Washington Heights and Latino culture, Dominican culture, Puerto Rican culture, but mainly Dominican culture.
Fuck Lin-Manuel.
Well, that's what we're gonna get to.
That's
right?
around your way, ain't it?
That's I was in Brooklyn.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But that was that's a little ride up there. Heights. I used to go up there a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was in Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, son.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy area. You know what I'm saying? Washington Heights, a little uptown.
I thought you was from Canarsie.
Nah, fuck you, nigga. I'm never gonna lie about Canarsie. You know what I'm saying?
The old one.
Brooklyn.
Anyway.
But that was the heart of Dominican Latino culture, was Washington Heights during that time period, 70s, 80s, 90s, and all that kind of shit.
Okay.
But apparently my man Lin-Manuel has done a story about it.
Has he?
But he seemed to forgot to bring in dark-skinned and or African Latinos. And so he caught a lot of stuff, some of it from our girl Rosa and some other folks who are calling him out rightfully because he's done a whole movie which got celebrated. You know, the critics didn't give a damn at first, the regular white critics. They're like, oh, that's just culture, right? But folks started pointing out, like, how can you do a story about Washington Heights and not have any black folks in there, black Latinos in there, or African Latinos?
So Immortal Technique was right for throwing them in the trash can?
Definitely, man, definitely.
Yeah, because I heard back in the day they went to school together.
Oh, word?
Yeah, he went to school with him. One of our homies, ex-wife went to school with Immortal Technique and Lin as well. But they said that Immortal Technique slammed him in the trash can. That's what Lin-Manuel said.
Oh.
So shout out to Immortal Technique for slamming this dumb ass into the...
For getting it right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then your man came out, after all the negative press, he came out and then offered this sort of weak apology around, sometimes we try, we don't get it right, I'm learning my lessons. But I'm like, how
so
can
you say there was no dark skin?
There might have been one background character in the whole movie. But other than that, everybody was a light-skinned and or white-skinned Latino, which is, if anybody's been to Washington Heights, and I have, because I'm from New York, from Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Fuck you. Then they realized that that's just not how the culture rolls, that's not who the people are, that's not who you see up there, but he totally whitewashed it for Hollywood.
And what channel is this on?
It's a movie, nigga. What are you talking about? What channel?
I mean, they ain't like fucking BT had show movies. It's a channel, nigga.
Yo, but they've been doing that whole caste system with the Indians, where they call them sand niggas and different things like that, where at Dominican Republic and Haiti, where they got the whole beef of light skin. This is crazy how they still do
that shit that's age old, and that's part of white supremacy as a whole and shit. You know what I'm saying? Where folks want to divide and conquer. It's like you said, in India, you got northern India and southern India, where the darker Indians recognized as poor. And even with them, you know what I'm saying, you have revolutionaries, the Dravidians. Dravidians were dark-skinned Indians over in India. They also had a Black Panther Party over there. You know what I mean? So that's just a part of racism and quote-unquote global white supremacy. It's like what we talked about on the Remix Morning Show with the whole skin bleaching and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Folks are always interested in becoming lighter. And that, unfortunately, that's like a disease and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then, for Lin-Manuel, this is like strike two, because Hamilton, again, something that was celebrated all around the world. Obviously, it broke a lot of records on Broadway. But the fact that he didn't deal with the fact that this white slave owner was somehow getting celebrated as, a founding father and someone who we should respect. There's a lot of critique and criticism. So as this guy sort of scales the upper echelon of Hollywood, he's doing it in that old-fashioned way where, he promotes certain groups or certain people, and other folks he doesn't report on at all. And it matters because he's one of the few Latinos in a position for hiring and firing and for casting. And so I think a lot of folks have now started to try to push back on this dude, and whether or not, they got theirs. We got folks in our community who do that same thing, as we've spoken about, whether or not they cast always like light-skinned black women as the heroes. I remember the Netflix movie, it was a 5 or 6 part series, and it was supposed to be doing the history of hip hop,
right.
But it focused in on a lighter skinned character on that one too, and so all these stories are getting told, but they're not getting told from the perspective of the folks who really started this stuff and got it done.
You talking about the Get Down?
Yeah. And there's other, obviously the Latinos participated, were a part of the
definitely.
original hip hop culture,
Yeah.
but when you make the central character, the love story between the lightest skin, whether he was Latino, just light-skinned black, and then his girlfriend who was also light-skinned, then you're telling a certain perspective around who made this culture or who should be viewed in terms of like the history of this culture, and everybody else in some ways were like side pieces to this dominant narrative. And again, Hollywood continues to tell that story the way they want to tell it as opposed to the way it really happened.
I mean, the roots of white supremacy run so fucking deep. You know what I'm saying? It runs so deep that, I mean, just think about the fact that here we are, those of us who consider ourselves African people, you know what I'm saying, or indigenous people. The fact that that if our ancestors could look down the barrel of time and see how we are now, you know what I mean? The fact that we've been so brainwashed, whitewashed, and diluted mentally and spiritually that you would want to change your complexion, that you would want to change your hair and your texture, so on and so forth. And I'm not knocking anybody, you know what I'm saying? You know, if that's what you're into, you know, bubble your thing, man, do what you do. But at the same time, man, it's like, yo, it's a serious sickness. So here we are, we're fighting white supremacy and capitalism on such a monumental magnitude. It's just so incredible. I see why some of you folks aren't trying to fight. I see why some of you folks don't want to get involved in our people's liberation movement. And I also see why some of you want to dance on the line and want to try to, you know, get along with everybody. But that shit's not going to win. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, you're going to have to decide, as we always say, what side of the barricade you're on, because of the fact that if you don't, you're going to end up on the wrong side of history. You know what I'm saying? You can't, what KRS-One said, you can't play both sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying? He said 1999 shit was getting dense. Hey, I mean tense. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, now it's amazing when people, and they view this stuff and they try to act like, oh, it's just an accident of history, or that's just how I remember things. It's like, you got to understand that like we're deep into this white supremacist culture. And so if you don't do something actively to fight against it, how can you look around a whole cast, like, you know, he's directing this movie, producing this movie, how you gonna look around a whole cast and not notice that you somehow left out a centerpiece of what that culture was during that time period in Washington Heights? Like, you just have to have some kind of blind spot. And again, that's white supremacy that's being brought up in this society where you don't think twice about what it is that you're representing on screen, and you walk away thinking you've done a great job and this is just normal.
Yeah.
And other folks got to point out to you,
step back like
you notice this ain't, just like you notice, and if you look at any pictures of Washington Heights, that it's centered around black folks.
I mean, come on,
Black
man.
Latinos, you know what I'm saying?
But you know, what's crazy as well, man, is the fact that, you know, we grew up in the tri-state area. You know what I mean? So you grew up around mainly blacks and Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and Haitians, Jamaicans, so on and so forth. You know, so we're used to the whole different shades. You know what I mean? I get into it with folks sometime about, you know, well, the Latinos, you know, they're white and all this type shit and so on and so forth. You know, you don't know the culture. You couldn't have possibly been around. You couldn't have possibly understood the connection between the Africans and the Tainos, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that the Spanish colonizers, you know what I'm saying, just like the Portuguese colonizers, just like the English colonizers, you know, one way to know who colonized your particular tribe or community or whatever would be to just listen and hear the language that's being spoken. Whatever language you speak, that's the language of your oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? Especially if that's your quote unquote first language.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The language of your oppressor, and you know, the colonization, which we're really talking about, is historical rape, right? Obviously there's like love relationships present day.
True indeed.
But a lot of the color differentiation is based on the historical rape of Africans through the diaspora, which has brought the many different shades of who we are today. And again, for this dude to not even see that is crazy. So you know what, we got a special guest when we come back on Renegade Culture.
No
We'll have
doubt.
our special musical guest.
We got my man Question in the building. Question is coming through, and one thing that I love about Question is, I'm gonna let the cat out the bag.
Yeah.
No,
You want to keep it? Keep
I'm
it?
gonna
Keep it? Keep
keep
it? Yeah.
to myself. You'll see for yourself. But Question is a dope MC.
Yeah.
He's a dope artist. You know what I'm saying? He's a young man who I really believe that he's gonna be a success in this particular in the hip hop culture, hip hop genre.
He's a young cat, new, you know, and again, there's gonna be something different about him. So y'all gonna check that out next on Renegade Culture.
Bow.
Bam.
Saturday Renegade Coaches in the building.
You know what I'm saying? We had another great show, you know what I'm saying?
Dynamite show.
All right, and now,
Hey man, listen man, I had to go all the way to East Point.
true that, true.
Pull up on one of my peoples them.
All right, all
I
right.
said, yo, my man. He said, huh? I said, what in the fuck you doing tonight?
Uh-oh.
He said, man, that's a serious question.
Oh, damn.
I said, man, what's your name? He said, Question. Duh.
Duh.
Got my man Question in the building tonight.
Question.
What's happening?
What's good, Question?
Good, my man.
This segment is sponsored by water.
Oh, segment sponsored by water. Okay.
Question.
Agua.
right?
Question
Yeah.
is a young up-and-coming hip-hop artist, right?
Yo. Yes, sir. And producer.
And producer.
Don't
And
sleep.
producer.
And where you from, Question?
East Point. Best thing out the point since Outkast. No cap.
Damn!
Yeah.
Talk.
Throw them E's up, boy.
You know what I'm saying?
Not for the ear.
And if y'all haven't noticed, Question is without sight.
No, yep.
I don't think they noticed that, but just in case. So how difficult is it to be a rapper and not be able to see and stuff like that?
It don't got nothing to do with my rapping because I just put the time in the music. I'm a student of the craft, so I just focus in. Like, I don't know, music is for the ears, bro. Like, so it don't really make a difference to rapping.
So what about the producing?
Same there, because music is for the ears. So honestly, like, at times I feel like I'd be a little bit more honed in because like you get so distracted, your brain can only take in so much information. So like if you're not looking at a lot of things with your eyes, staring at people walking by, notifications and things like that, whatever is, you know, distracting your brain, you could hear a lot more things. You got a lot more space in your mind for information. So I just pay attention to certain things that people might miss. It's not that I have like no daredevil type shit hearing. It's just that I'll be more aware of certain things, you know?
No doubt. And your rhyme skills is taking you to places that a lot of motherfuckers ain't go to. You know what I'm saying?
Respect.
Heard it's a documentary coming out. What's that? USA Today's putting something out?
Yeah.
I mean, USA Today, that's amazing because you don't fuck with USA Today. If they fucking with you, it might be some old other shit. So tell us about that right there.
Yeah, it's hard. It's crazy because the documentary actually started off of my producing. I got a chance to go to Canada. They got the platform out there called Battle of the Beat Makers, the World Beat Battle, with my man Cliff and them. And my manager, OG David Jackson, he got me like linked in with them. And so me and Moms, who really been grinding with me from Jump, you know what I'm saying? We went out there and we really been grinding for a long time. I did like 20 beat battles here, like just kind of leveling up, honing my craft. So then once the documentary started, there was covering beat battles, kind of putting people onto that culture. But I started rapping like in the public. I started showing people my music. I started like vibing, you know what I'm saying? Just like people was fucking with it. So they started connecting with me more on the artistry, and it just made sense because I was already producing some of my own music. So they was like, we finna do a project on you, and the documentary evolved from there.
So that shit is amazing, man.
It's raw, bro.
When you talk about, you know, MCing, producing, and all that, how did you get started, and how old were you when you got started, man? Because of the fact that, I mean, you talking about some amazing shit. You talking about a documentary and everything. I know you mentioned that you got some paperwork on the table, but you're doing some real big things, and you know you're doing better than a lot of these cats we came through here been rhyming for 115 years. You get some cats come through here, bro. Man. You know.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's definitely a lot of people hustling in the city, and I encourage everybody who doing it, man, just like stick to it and find your niche. Like you could do a whole lot of different type of music and still make it, but you got to find a way to grind and network and get in them right rooms. Honestly, I started, bro, like from birth. Like I was doing it for so long. Like that's the thing, the 10,000 hour rule is true. like if you put time into it, you could get better at anything. You might not ever be the best, but like perfection damn near don't exist. So just like keep hustling, man. Put the time in. I started freestyling at 5. I started making beats at 11. So like I've been grinding. You know what I'm saying?
So who are some of your influences? Whose music do you try to not emulate, but who gives you some guidance?
Nah, for sure. Everybody emulates at first. I'm gonna just straight up say that, bro. If you say that you ain't never emulated nobody and you made it to a certain position, you cap, bro. Like everybody goes through a time where you want to be like somebody, you want to idolize somebody, because that's how you start realizing that you could do this shit. It's like, damn, bro, I want to be where Tupac at. I want to be where Dre at. I want to be where like hell people at. See, like I'm a true student. Like I love hip hop. I'm ahead, bro. So I was born in the 90s. I listened to like Cube, Common, Roots, Immortal, Biggie, Pac, Nas, like anybody you can, not anybody, I ain't gonna lie, but like, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? But then I be listening to like Miles Davis, Lester Young, Rush, like Skrillex, Daft Punk, like I be everywhere, bro. And then like I fought with the new niggas too, like Playboy Cardi, Lil Uzi, Juice WRLD, rest in peace to GOAT, rest in peace X, you know what I'm saying? Tupac my favorite rapper though, so I gotta give it up.
Not Biggie?
Nah, but Biggie. Nah, but hey, but
say this shit with authority.
Kamau's favorite rapper.
Because when I say something, I say it for fact. Like Pac, my favorite rapper. I thought about it on my head, so I took the time. But Biggie got it. Like, it's crazy. Cause I tell people low key, like, I'm really inspired by Biggie in crazy ways. Like his cadence and shit, like the way his delivery. Like, he's a better lyricist than Pac.
Of course.
But Pac got a crazy wide influence and versatility and respect and charisma and content and confidence. So it's like, it's differences, but you can give different points to different people. So yeah, Pac my favorite, but Biggie in my top 5.
Well, question, you know that Kamau's favorite is Cardi B. What do you think about that?
Cardi making money.
Making moves.
Something about like Kamau.
She hustling.
Kamau be stripping like her. But let me ask you this. You said your top 5. I'm interested because of the fact that you mentioned groups like Rush, Lester Young, you know what I'm saying, Miles. I mean, let me hear your top 5, man.
In music, ever?
Yeah, ever.
I could never, bro. It's like, it changes. I can tell you right now.
Yeah, just for now. Don't be telling me about when you was born. Man, shit right there.
Top 5 music ever. That's like so hard because there's not even 5 top music genres. Like, how do you do that? Like,
all right, one out of jazz. One of your favorites out
probably
of jazz.
Oscar Peterson.
Okay.
Oscar Peterson is cold, man. The whole Oscar Peterson trio movement is just like, that's an amazing sound.
One out of hip hop.
Honestly, Eminem. Like, ain't nobody touching his lyrics.
I was with you, man.
I'll sit here and go, who?
You talking Eminem like the candies or?
I want to ask a question, and I'm finna go through anybody who answered this question.
Okay.
Who is gonna battle Eminem and win?
Nobody.
Who gonna battle Eminem?
It ain't about battling.
KRS-One.
Hove?
Black Thought.
KRS-One.
Okay, hold up. Let's go through these choices.
Anything.
Black Thought. Thought.
First, I heard KRS-One, and we're gonna start there. Much respect to the legend. Big up, big up, big up. Such an inspiration, such a historian. But I don't know if he got the flows of the mid-90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now to keep up like M been doing. M been studying. He got KRS-One in him. Thought he still be going.
Yeah.
Thought be freestyling, bro.
Right.
That would be a crazy battle. M be freestyling too. But I've never heard Thought rap like Tech 9 on that fast worldwide chopper shit. Eminem do that all day.
Question, here's the question. Did you hear the 10-minute Black Thought joint that he did on Funk Flex?
And Sway, he be busting, bro.
Question. Stop playing.
No, hey, it'll be a battle. It'll be a battle, bro.
I mean, I picked you up in the hoopty and there, in the hoo ride. Now I'm gonna have to let your momager drop you off.
But now he's showing his age.
Not true.
I can't believe you say
we love him.
This blasphemous. Now normally what I usually do, I just walk out the room and cats be like, "Where you at?" Oh, I'm on I-20 right now. I don't even live on I-20. Exactly. Eminem. Lord have mercy.
We're going to let you get away with that. We're going to go to our bold question.
Yes.
So what happens here, is you can't see this bowl. You're lucky for that because this
you're
bowl
lucky. Don't worry about
is like the worst bowl ever. It comes from my man's family house. I don't know, like I think his cat used to look out of this bowl or whatever like that.
Toilet bowl.
But so in here is like 1,000 questions. Cool. I want to have you reach in here and pick out a question.
Cool. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of questions in there.
Awesome. Just don't like too much.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So keep it going.
Choose this word.
And then we're gonna read off the question. Who would you let write music for you? So in other words, what artist would you let write for you, man?
Don't say Eminem. You got to write you the lead.
I mean, like strike two already.
I could. Just to fuck with y'all. Honestly, probably my man Heady One. I gotta shout out the UK drill scene. I really been tapping into drill music. I've been doing a lot with drill right now. Honestly, I'm holding down drill for the South region. Big up Pop Smoke, big up CJ, okay. Big up 504, you know what I'm saying? Everybody from the East Coast, but y'all name me as somebody out the South that's holding it down for drill. His name is Question. So
check him out.
Shout out to right here. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Getz, guys like Heady One, Skepta. I would definitely fuck with Heady on the tune. You know what I'm saying?
I like this cat Question, boy. Remind me of one of my sons and whatnot. Talking that shit. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
It's like there is no question.
Minus the Eminem shit. You know
so we're gonna do something special tonight, right? And so instead of cutting and letting my man do his song, what he said is that he wants us to throw out some words.
Yes.
And then he's gonna start rocking on it, right?
Yes.
All right.
You want that beat or you want to? Okay.
Okay. You checking out Renegade Culture. Hey, we got so many goddamn shows. I'm about to say you checking out the this, the that. But we at Renegade Culture tonight. And we live and direct with my man Question. He about to bust him down.
Yes.
Let's
Bring
go,
that beat.
Question.
Bring that beat.
Let's go.
Hit it, Question.
Yeah. Renegade shit, y'all know what the fuck going on. We finna drop right into this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming and I'm busting. These people mad at me cause I'm looking and I'm cushing. They love what I'm coming with and they see us crushing. We waking and baking, they know they can't stop the puffing. We keep the Mary Jane on us. I give a fuck about what they hating, no complaining. I wake up and I'm trying to stack up all these payments. I'm blazing off and I'm hitting the space station. Now watch me change it, they want me rearrange it. Throw words at me as I come in one take this. Freestyling off the top of the brain, it's easy. Can't nobody change it. Cooling and I'm kicking and I'm straight maintaining. Vibing and relaxing and moving this revolution. They love the way I do it. I hit them with this pollution like poison. Can you hear my voices? I've been manifesting all my dreams from my choices.
Renegade.
Young stoner kid on this Renegade podcast and I'm finna blast. And I got a lot to hash. They told me to stop kicking it, but I keep coming leveling up my business. Getting all these digits in at least 6 figures, bitch. With this intellect as I interject. Let me come in with some different shit as I get respect. Pause for a second just to catch my breath. Represent for East Point to my fucking death.
Pornhub.
Yo, I'm not on no Pornhub. I'm in the fucking club with a fucking dub. You can throw anything at me and I'm finna catch it. And I'm finna bat it. So I'm just straight relaxing. Maxing and stacking my rackies up to the ceiling. I'm chilling. Getting a billy, and then a trillion.
Black Thought.
Secure this bag for my children. Shout out Black Thought. I know the way that he kills it. Eminem one of the ghosts when it comes to these lyrics. I can keep going, I got more, or I can stop. It's up to y'all.
I like how you
Question, yo.
No
cap. What's your social media?
Yeah, man, y'all make sure y'all follow the kid, man, at Question ATL everywhere, man. Question on Facebook, Question ATL, Instagram and Twitter, man. Fuck with me.
Boom. Question, yo, Renegade Culture. We out of here.
Blackout.